Hello everyone. In this session, we will understand about if-else in Python. If-else are nothing but conditional statements in a programming language. Like all other programming languages, if-else is also present in Python. What conditional statements does? Conditional statements are used to run some statement based on condition. That means if a specific condition is met, then only a code segment will run. Otherwise, it will not run. Let's understand it in this flowchart. Here, what we are doing based on some condition, if the condition is true, then only we will run a specific code segment. If the condition is false, we will run another code segment. If your use case is like this, if your requirement is like this, you have to use conditional statements in Python. To understand conditional statements, these are the prerequisites what you have to know: conditional operators and logical operators. I have a video for all the operators present in Python. You can check it out. But one liner for conditional and logical operators are: conditional operators works on top of two operands and it provides output in Boolean. So that means conditional statements output will always be true or false. Similarly, logical operator takes booleans as its operand and returns another boolean. We have already understood what is and, or, and not operators in Python. What is the use of double equal to in Python? All these things we have already discussed in our previous video. What is the syntax for it? There are few keywords. These if, elif, and else are known as keywords. In case of Python, we have three keywords. One is if, another is elif, which is nothing but else if in other languages. But here you have to write like elif and else. So what it will do, if condition is true, then this code segment will run. If it is false, then it will go to the next part. It will go to this elif and again check if this condition is true. Then it will run code segment 2. If it is false, it will not run this code segment 1. It will directly jump into the next statement. Again, if else if is also false, then it will directly jump to else part without printing or running this code segment. It will jump to the else part and execute this code segment 3. Hope you have understood it. So we have three keywords: if, elif, and else in Python. It will start from if. If the condition is true, then code segment 1 will work and all the other code segments will not work. So that means it will only execute code segment 1 and it will not execute code segment 2 and code segment 3 if the condition for if statement is true. If it is false, then only it will jump to else if part and check the condition. Otherwise not. Again, if elif condition is true, then code segment 2 will execute. Neither code segment 1 nor code segment 3 will execute. Remember, this elif and else, these two are optional. By optional, I mean without elif and else, you can use if. But to use elif, you have to use if. It's a mandatory keyword. Let's understand with a real-time example here. For example, your problem statement is, it will take age as its input and check if age is more than 18 years. If yes, then they will have eligibility to provide vote for election, otherwise not. Let's define it in terms of conditional statement in Python. So there will be one variable called age. For example, it is 70. Then if age is greater than equal to 18 years, then perform one print statement. We know what is the print function in Python. It is to provide the output in console. So print eligible for vote, else colon print not eligible for vote. Here if you see, we have never used elif. That is why I was talking about these two are optional. You may or may not use it based on your problem statement. But to use elif, you have to use if. And if age is greater than 18, then run this statement. Otherwise, run this statement. That was our problem statement. That's the reason we have only used if and else. Remember one thing, there is no parenthesis required for if and else. Why I am telling this? Because all other languages need parenthesis. Here, instead of parenthesis, you will write the condition and then colon, as you can see it even in our syntax. Instead of condition, I have replaced it with age greater than equal to 18. Now, greater than equal to is nothing but a conditional statement. So, it will provide you the output in Boolean. So, it will be either true or false. Age can be more than 18 or age can be less than 18. Based on that, it will be either true or false. If the condition is true, then only this print will work. If the condition is false, then else part will work. So, in this case, as age is 70, it will print eligible for vote. Now, instead of 70, if our age is 18, then also it will print eligible for vote. Why? Because the conditional statement is greater than equal to. So, that means even if age is equal to 18, they will be eligible for vote. Whereas, if we put age as 17, then this condition will give you false. Why? Because age is 17. If we replace 17 with age, then 17 is greater than equal to 18. This statement will be false. And as this statement will be false, it will not print eligible for vote, and it will directly go to the else part and print not eligible for vote. Here if you see I have maintained the indentation of the code. Let me rub this so that you can clearly understand what do I mean by indentation. Remember, there is no curly braces or parentheses are needed in case of if else statement in Python. Instead, we need indentation. What is the meaning of indentation? If you see, this print and this print are in the same line. It's kind of paragraph. So you have to maintain this indentation. So if you see here, there is a tab in between. Okay. Otherwise, we cannot write like if print from here, from here. We cannot write like this. This will be wrong, and your Python will not be able to recognize that this print is within this if statement. If the print is within this if statement, there should be a tab, empty white space, and then we have to write the print. Similarly, for else also, we cannot start writing print from here. We have to provide a tab and then write print. This is called indentation. Indentation is very important concept in Python. Without indentation, you cannot write any Python code. Indentation is the only way to inform our Python compiler that this print statement is within this if statement. I am in my PyCharm ID. Let's see few of the examples with conditional statements or using if else. Very first example, as you can see, we can test a number if it is odd or even. If the modulus operation with 2 is giving us 0, that means the number is even. In other case, number is odd. So let's run this program to see the result. If you see here, the number is even. Why? Because 8 is the content of number. So if we perform 8 modulus 2, what will be the remainder? It will be 0. That's the reason if statement will execute and number is even will be printed out in the console. And as if condition is true, that's the reason else part will not execute at all. Hope you have understood. Let's change the number to 7. Now 7 modulus 2 will give us 1. Then the if statement will not execute because this condition will be false. And obviously else part will execute in that case, and it will give us the result as number is odd. This is one application of if else statements. Let's check another example. Here we are also included elif in our example. So let's understand the problem statement first. We will have a variable called number, and some number will be stored within that variable. We have to test if the number is positive or negative. In this case, if you see the condition number greater than 0, if that is true, that means the number is positive number. If number less than 0, number is a negative number. In other case, it will be 0. Let's run this program. In this case, as you can see, we have stored -11 within number variable. That's the reason this condition will be false. -11 is not greater than 0. Hence, print will not be printed. Number is a positive number will not be printed. It goes directly to else if, because if condition is false. In else if condition, -11 less than 0, this satisfies the condition. That means the output of this condition will be true. As the condition is true, that means it will print number is a negative number, and that is what is happening here. Now, instead of -11, let's put 1 in it. So, ideally, it should give us the result that number is a positive number, because this condition will be true. Once this condition is true, else if and else will not be executed at all. That's the reason you are only seeing number is a positive number. And who is doing this? Python compiler can understand if this condition is true. That means I don't have to run else if or else part. Similarly, if we put number 0, you can see the number is 0. In this case, this is also false. Why this is false? Because 0 greater than 0 is a false statement. That's the reason this condition will give you false result. This will also be false. Why? Because 0 less than 0 is also a false statement, and that is the reason this print and this print will not be executed at all. It will go to else part. Both the conditions are false. That's the reason else part will be executed, and that is what is happening here. Number is 0. Hope you have understood what is the use of conditional statements. Let's understand what is nested if else. We can nest one if else within another if else. So that means within one if we can put another if and else. And within else also we can put another if and else. This is called nested if else structure. Why do we need this? So if our problem statement is print highest element among 3 different elements, we need nested if else. To understand it better, let's think we have 3 variables A, B and C. So how can we compare them? We cannot compare 3 variables together in a single if. That's the reason we first compare A and B. For example, if A is greater than B, that means between A and B, A is highest. Then we will compare A with C as well. If between A and C, A is highest, then we can print A as the highest element, because A is greater than B as well as A is greater than C. What can be the other cases? It can happen that A is less than C. If that is the case, then A is greater than B, but A is less than C, means C is the highest element. Similarly, for other cases, when A is lesser than B, that means between A and B, B is the higher, then we can again compare if B is greater than C or not. If this is true, that means B is the highest among 3. Else, that means the cases where B is less than C, B is greater than A but less than C means C is the highest element. In these cases, as you can see, we have one conditional statement, and within one condition we have nested conditions. In some specific problem statement, we have to write nested if else. So here if we replace all these conditions with this, then it will be clear to you. I hope you have understood why we need nested if else for some problem statements. In PyCharm, I have taken number 1, 2, 3, three numbers. The problem statement is to find out the highest among these three items. In this case, the similar thing I have done. There is one if statement. Within this if statement, another if else is there. This is called nested if else structure. Look at this indentation. This print is within this if. This if is within the outer if. Similarly, this if is within outer else and this print is within if. This is called indentation in Python. There are some white spaces to inform the Python compiler that this print statement is within this if statement. What about this print? This print is out of all these if else structure. Okay, so that means if you see here, we have one if and another else. Within if there are another if and else. So this is called nested structure. Let's run this program, because as we have identified the logic already in our theory. See, 6 is the highest element among 3, 6 and 0. Let me make it -6. Then what will be the highest item? 3 will be the highest among these three. Okay, it's giving correct result. Hope you have understood what is nested if else and what are the situations when we have to use nested if else. Thank you for watching this video.